Now, coming to today's agenda, guys, we would be starting with what exactly is, GRC. So we would be starting by defining what exactly is GRC. GRC is basically one of the most important pillars in cybersecurity when it comes to establishing policies, when it comes to risk management, when it comes to abiding by the regulatory needs, right? So GRC has proven to be one of the most important pillars in the world of cybersecurity. Now, if I were to talk about governance, right now, governance is a set of policies, a set of rules, a set of framework that any organization will have to define in order to achieve their objectives. So let's say, as an example, that I work in an IT consulting firm. Okay. Now, in order for me to run an IT consulting firm, I definitely would need certain rules. I would definitely need certain policies. I would need to define, my mission, my visions, my goals, what I try to achieve by this firm, what is going to be, the working environment in this firm, right? How employees are supposed to be hired, how, services are supposed to be provided, right? I do need a proper regulation. I do need proper policies. I do need rules because without any of proper rules or regulations, my company will not be able to survive. It is just like, a company without any regulation, we won't be able to survive in a real time world. Hence, the importance of policies came into picture that, let's try to establish a very solid set of regulations and set of rules according to which the organization is supposed to function responsible stakeholders in the company, right? Let's say your chief information security officer or your CEO, your VPs, your directors, your consultants, your trainees, right? Any stakeholder, right, from top level management till all the way till bottom, how they are supposed to work in an environment, how they are supposed to do their rules and obey their duties. Everything has to be defined very, very clearly and thoroughly. So governance aspect of GRC stands for setting up of rules, setting up of policies, and ensuring that yes, it is aligned with what business is trying to achieve or what business objectives are. Right. So we just have to ensure that we are not creating any policies which is not needed for the business or which is not needed for the company. Right. You have to keep in alignment with the policies that you create and the business objectives what your company is trying to achieve out of this. So that is mainly the governance aspect. And some of the very widely known, examples, if I can think of, is the data protection policy, the resource management policy, ethics and compliance policy, or ethics and social responsibility policy. Now let's think that within a policy, I have to define that how I'm going to protect the data of the customers, of the consumers, of internal employees, of my vendors, of my stakeholders, right? So within a data protection policy, I can ideally expect a purpose of the policy, the scope of the policy, right? The stakeholders who will be assigned in this policy who will have to do some work on the data protection part. How do we plan to achieve and protect that data? Right, so I need a very structured list of regulations, list of rules that and ideally a policy should contain, right? So that is all to be aligned with how the organization is willing to achieve data protection, right? So we definitely have one of the most important aspect in GRC is the policies, right? It holds a very good importance and that definitely defines how the structure of the company, is going to look like. So that is what we have with governance. If I move to risk management, guys, now risk management again becomes one of the critical aspects for organization to sustain, okay, to sustain from several kinds of challenges, or I would say gaps, or I would say, roadblocks that the organization may face through. Now, be it in terms of finances, be it in terms of legal obligation, be it in terms of strategic plans, be it in terms of operation, be it in terms of IT security, okay, be it in terms of third party management, right? We have different kinds of risk that an organization will always face, guys, right? Let's think of a situation that if my organization is facing a ransomware attack or has been exposed to a ransomware attack, then definitely I know the amount of impact that ransomware is going to have in terms of finances of the company, in terms of reputation of the company, how deeply it will impact the operation, how deeply it will impact the reputation, right? I have a big risk for a data threat, right? Or a ransomware attack, I could say. Then I can think of that if the operations of the companies, right? Let's say if I work remotely in an organization and then my virtual private networks are not working and the whole organization or all the employees of the company are not going to, you know, work for a particular day. Now that is an operational loss. That is an operational risk that all of my operations are stopped, are at hold, right? That we are not able to conduct any operations because the VPN is down, right? Let's say my password policies or the password for all of my assets have been compromised due to any kind of internal employee mistake or due to any kind of exposure that the organization may have got because of a ransomware attack or so. Now, because of the password exposure, all of my assets could be compromised. My data within the assets could be compromised, right? So, such kinds of risk are always there, right? They're always there in the organization. But with appropriate risk management, what we do is we firstly try to identify the risk in the best possible manner, right? So we do an analysis, right? We do an analysis, we do like a kind of assessment, and then let's try to see that what existing risk we have in the organization, right? So assessment is something which becomes very, very important part as a part of risk management, right? So I'll do an assessment, I'll try to identify certain risk which I get as a output of assessment. After identifying those risks, I will try to analyze that risk, right? Let's say not every risk is going to be very, very impactful or very, very crucial for the organization. Few risks could be also at a very low level, right? Let's say a very nominal risk could be that we did a migration activity, and because of the migration activity, the new URL was not given to the end customers, right? Since new URL was not given to the end customers, they were not able to log into the system. They were still trying with the old URL to log into a system, right? And they reported this as an issue. Now since they reported this as an issue, right, I understood that yes, the problem is that new URL is not known to them, so let's share a new URL and they should be able to log in. So such kinds of risk, I'm not going to say that they are extremely critical risk or the organization is going to lose hundreds and thousands of dollars for such kind of issue, right? They're probably low level of risk. The risk over there is not that high. You share the new URL, you get their access sorted out, and then that's all. Your operations is again aligned and you're all good to go. So proper risk management is very important in the organization, guys, that we analyze the risk, we assess the risk, then we evaluate the risk, right? That you evaluate the risk, that fine. If I have identified a risk, like as we were talking before, that the passwords of the all the assets of the companies have been compromised. Now, if I do not take any action, right, or if I have the most crucial data in those assets for which passwords have been compromised, right, then what could be the risk? Could I face financial penalties? Yes. Could I face legal obligations? Yes. Could I have my reputation go down? Yes. Could I have my strategic goals hampered? Of course, yes. So we do the evaluation, right? You literally evaluate that if a risk is identified, then what is going to be the impact of that risk? Is it going to be high? Is it going to be medium? Is it going to be low? Is it going to impact the organization in terms of heavy financial losses? Is it going to impact the organization in terms of reputation? Right. So we do an end-to-end analysis and evaluation of that risk. And once that is done, we go across and then we try to remediate that risk successfully. So that is all this risk management is all about, right? Right from its identification, its assessment, its evaluation, treating that risk or remediating that risk, the entire platform or the entire risk management is accommodative in this. And you all must be thinking that, how can we manage an entire risk for the organization, right? And that's exactly what we are going to study next as the GRC tools. We know the process, but we can't maintain everything manually, right? We need tools, we need technologies to maintain this. So that is exactly what our next session we are going to talk about. But before that, let's even understand what is compliance. So we recently understood, the policies that we have across. The policies that we have across are meant for organization to follow. As an organization, if you do not follow the policies, it's going to be a major challenge. It's going to be a major, issue. So what we do with compliance is we ensure that the policies that you have in the company are being followed, and policies are not just written or are not just created for the sake of creating. Okay, now if I work, as an example, what we have is, if I work in a healthcare organization and if my company is from North American region. Okay, so I have to ensure that I comply with all the regulations of HIPAA. Now, if I don't comply with HIPAA regulations, then definitely I'm going to be penalized with the penalties as per the breaches what I have made. Right? If I do not follow the policies, the rules, the regulation related to HIPAA, then I'm definitely going to face financial challenges. I'm going to face legal penalties. I'll lose my reputation. So compliance becomes one of the most important part in GRC, guys, that one needs to follow, and one needs to adhere to all the policies and regulation that an organization is supposed to follow. Okay, if I'm not from a healthcare organization, or if I don't deal with healthcare organization or healthcare industries, then probably HIPAA to me will not be applicable. Then I may have to follow ISO 27001, which is information security management systems, right? Now that is again one of the widely used compliance framework that people need to follow, that in order to have a strict regulation, in order to achieve reputation in the market, in order to avoid certain risk, in order to prevent certain risk, because ISMS suggests some of the best practices what organization need to follow. They suggest about different controls which organization implemented. If they implement it, then definitely their organization is in much safer hands, right? So compliance becomes one of the most important part in the GRC tirade, guys, and it's equivalently important for us to follow. If we do not, then we would be penalized with financial, crunches, losses, penalties, etc. Okay, now as a next sector, guys, we are going to talk about GRC tool, which is mainly our GRC automation. So if you look at, this is a sample dashboard from one of the leading tool, which is RSA Archer, right? And I have given you like a sample dashboard page. So I'll go on this page first, where if you see that we have audit management, where we have issues management, we have operational risk management, we have regulatory and corporate compliances, where we have IT security risk management, we have audit management in place. Okay, we have performance management, right? We have multiple different use cases widely used across GRC segment already in a tool. Now, this tool definitely comes with a design, right? Now, how to conduct audit, how to manage issues, how to manage risk, how to manage business continuity, how to do a vendor profiling or manage third party vendor management, everything is incorporated in this tool, right? All we have to do within this tool is assign different stakeholders, right? When we talk about GRC, GRC is going to have way, double digit stakeholders in place. There could be policy owners, there could be policy reviewers, there could be audit managers, there could be risk managers, there could be risk owners, right? We are going to have n number of different GRC stakeholders. So within this tool, we have the rights and we have the ability to define different roles. So as a risk manager, what am I going to do? As a compliance analyst, what am I going to do? As a policy creator, what am I going to do? Right? I do have all of these roles and responsibilities which can be accommodated in the tool. So tool promotes GRC automation. Anything that you think from a GRC, what you are doing manually, everything can be accommodated in the tool these days, right? You can build all of these use cases within the tool. You can have your complete design as per your organizational needs, or if you follow best practice design for managing audits, risks, compliances, you can do it as well, guys, right? So just a sample example, what I've captured from a tool that, this is how it would look like. Now, if you see across, guys, then we do have a sample of audit plan here, right? Now, within this sample, if you see that I'm able to write name of an audit plan, probably description of an audit plan, the start date when my audit will begin, a completion date, probably the plan expenses, what I would need to have, the projected expenses, the total expenses, what happened at the plan, at the end of a completion of a plan, so forth. Right? So this is just a very basic snapshot what I have captured. So if you feel like you want to add up audit status, you feel like you want to add up, audit importance or criticality of audit, or you would like to relate audit with multiple business entities, business divisions, business departments, okay, subdivisions, right? You all can customize that within this tool, guys. I can assign an audit plan to multiple business entities, business divisions, business units, any of the internal divisions you may have, right? If I want to bring in controls to an audit, okay, if I want to tag certain controls to an audit, then let's say if I'm doing an audit plan just for the organization controls as per the guidelines of ISO 27001. So there are about 32 or 37, uh, organization controls as per the guidelines of ISMS. So I can assign or I can bring all those 37 controls of ISO 27001 and tag it to an audit plan. And that happens with the references, guys, right? When we go inside a tool, we will, definitely be able to tag controls, policies, risk, right? Any sector you talk in GRC, I'll be able to tag it to an audit plan. That is the capability of the tool. Another example, guys, of a risk register, if you see, I can log or I can track a risk here. I can give a risk name. I can assign a stakeholder, which is probably like a risk owner or so, provide a description to a risk, provide the event category, that the risk belongs to which category. Is it belonging from a technical side? Is it belonging from, third party side? Is it belonging from a reputation side, right? I can tag that. I can probably tag, the content source as well, right? Content source or content ID, which refers to the content of the risk, the origination of the risk, the source of the risk, right? I can mention all of that details. If I have certain key performance indicators, I can assign key performance indicators as well. So if you see that there is an option of, look up and add new. So whatever KPIs, if I have already present in this tool, I can just do like a lookup and add n number of KPIs and tag it to a risk, right? Similarly, if I would like to add certain controls to a risk, I can have something similar as controls, or I can have something as regulatory controls, technological controls, people control, physical control, infrastructure control, anything. And then I can just do like a lookup and add the controls on that risk. So the relationship of risk or controls, risk or policies, right? They all can be accommodated within this tool, guys. We just need to configure this within the tool, right? So your complete process of risk mitigation can be automated. Your complete process of auditing can be automated. And that is what the capability of tools like RSA Archer is this. So this is a sample we have taken from RSA Archer, guys. RSA Archer is capable to manage everything within its own, tool capabilities. And we will be able to deliver any use case that you want. Okay, so any use case you think of could be delivered through RSA Archer, guys. Now, Archer, guys, as a tool is bringing in AI for several practices. So, if I were to brief one, that is definitely these days what we do is, if you are working in a GRC domain already, right, you conduct audit, by yourself. You may be using a tool or you may be using some evidences and documentation or so, but still it's an activity which is being done by audit consultants or by auditors. If you are working as a risk consultant or as a risk analyst, then you yourself create impact, or you calculate likelihood, right? And then you have a risk scoring parameters which needs to be defined, etc. However, with AI coming into picture, Archer is going to incorporate certain machine learning modules, right? And according to your organization, Archer is going to, have an analysis about your organization with the intelligence aspect, and it is going to suggest you solutions to the risk. Is it going to suggest you the type of risk your organization may face in the future, or the risk which you have not considered by yourself? So artificial intelligence is going to do an analysis of your organization in terms of your risk, your policies, your regulatory compliances, etc. And it is going to give you suggestions of your missing risk, of your missing controls, what has been missed out in your policies, or your policies needs to be upgraded, etc. So machine learning models, intelligence programs are being compiled up within tools like Archer, which is mainly being done from a compliance perspective, where you will be able to see that the AI, the generative AI, is doing the activities what the consultants are doing right now. Okay, that definitely has certain prerequisite. You need to inform AI about your organization, about what your organization is doing, in which location, geography, in which area, in which business unit, in which industry your organization is dealing with. And then generative AI will give you the list of risk based on the inputs what you have given. It will give you the list of policies what the organization needs to follow. It will give you the list of all the regulatory compliances what one needs to follow, and that is something which you will get by default, right? So generative AI is going to be integrated with the GRC solution, right? They would do an analysis based on regulatory models, based on intelligence, and then they are going to suggest you multiple controls. They are going to showcase you the enhancements what you can go through. They are going to suggest you the regulatory needs where you may be missing or where you may be non-compliant. Ideally what we do is we guys do risk assessments to identify missing risk. Ideally we work on missing controls, right? We do, though we may be using tools, but still that's a manual intervention which is needed. But now when AI gets into your tools, or when AI analyzes your entire platform, or AI changes, or AI visualizes everything. And then if AI gives you the suggestion that, in the risk what you have created related to technology, you are missing some of the technological details about that risk in this risk. So kindly go ahead and ensure that your risk is updated. In your policy, you are missing, a closure. In your policy, you are missing something. Your policy is not up to date. Your policy is expired. Now, AI is going to give you like a report. AI is going to give you like a tracker. It is going to give you like a report, and it is going to give you suggestions that, see, your organization is non-compliant in all of these areas. Rather than we as analyst or GRC consultant doing that activity, AI is going to do this, right? But that doesn't mean that there wouldn't be needs of consultants or so, right? We definitely need to learn how AI could be incorporated within these tools, and then how this is going to be useful. So this is still under development, guys. This is not fully out, right? We still have a prototype which we would be expecting something soon to be out, but that is something what is going to be the next revolution for the GRC consultants when AI gets into the picture, guys, right? So we as GRC consultants need to be aware of how AI related risk is going to be originated, how AI related controls are going to come out, how AI related policies would be created, how AI related assessments we would be doing, right? So AI is definitely going to bring a revolution for the GRC folks and consultants in the upcoming years to follow. And if I look at, here is a sample dashboard, right? Just like a prototype of how dashboards with AI is going to look like. So AI will complete all the analysis, and AI will give you like output as a dashboard. Okay, so output of your dashboard will look like something in this manner. This is like something like your gap analysis. This is like your industry regulations that you need to follow. These are the top risk which has been identified, right? This is the change which has the organization has gone through in terms of their operations also, right? So you'll see, several dashboards which AI will give you as an output, right? So when we leverage AI with GRC, the dashboards is going to be also coming out as an output, because management will never look at the data or will never get into the details. If you give them a dashboard, that's the best thing what they are looking for. If you give them a ready-made report, that's the only thing they would be looking at. They will not bother to get inside a record by record or check details. So AI will give you outputs like this, will give you information like this. And then let me show you guys some of the examples of compliance AI officially on the website of Archer Solution. So if you are interested to learn more, you can, let's have a look, guys, at some of the important changes what has been suggested, right? So compliance AI will develop workflow capabilities to implement the standards, right? So let's say a regulatory change management process, which we probably do it by the help of consultants. Now, the regulatory change, let's say there has been by the body, like let's say ISO releases a newer version in 2026 or 27, right? Now, that particular change, what the ISO releases it, right? We tend to look for it, or we tend to, seek consultants or help. Now, when we have incorporated AI with tools like Archer, right? It will automatically incorporate the change what has been given by ISO, and it will reflect in your tool directly. You as a consultant do not need to go through that process of that regulatory change management, make some changes in the tool or so. AI will automatically do it. So AI will capture that information that there has been a regulatory change and this is a specific regulatory change what has happened. So that will be incorporated in the tool, correct? Definitely then integration with monitoring aspect as well. Right now, definitely we monitor a lot of processes within our organization, right? We take care of certain sources, we take care of certain notification which is supposed to go out, or the data which is supposed to be coming from different sources. We want that to be integrated, correct? Now AI would definitely take care of that. We may not need notifications or place, or we may not need alerts in place. What will AI do is AI will monitor that, let's say if I have a data which is supposed to come from a another source or another system. Now that has not arrived on time, okay, or that has been delayed by 30 minutes or so. Now AI automatically will analyze on their side that data has not come from a particular source, and AI will alert you on its own that the data has not come from so and so time, and then AI would automatically plan something to send an alert to the respective team that we have not received data from your side, can you please go ahead and check. Right now what we do is we go across, and if data is not miss I mean if data is missing, we drop an email to the respective team, right? Or we may still have set up some kind of automation. I'm not saying we may not have right now, we may still have, but AI would streamline this process completely on its own. So if you do not receive a file, AI will generate a notification, will send it to the team, will alert you that data has been missing, right? Etc. So that eases your job. You don't need to keep monitoring everything. Similarly, for other aspects of monitoring that your organization may need, right? Your organization will be informed about configuration changes. Organization will be informed about, different compliance statuses. That if a compliance has approached like a due date, okay, that we need to follow, or we need to do a compliance assessment, a due date is approaching, right? So organization and different stakeholders will be informed automatically by AI. We don't need to design a notification, or we don't need to create system alerts that is sent to different stakeholders. AI will automatically have these capabilities. We just need to enable that feature. And once you enable that feature, AI will take care of all the assessments where a due date is approaching, or where the status has expired, or we may need to do a reassessment. AI will take care of all these activities. As far as information transmission is concerned, and then everything will be visible on dashboards. So as we were seeing that dashboard, right, of AI, right, when we were talking about such a kind of dashboard, AI will give us dashboards like this from a risk perspective, from a compliance perspective, right, and we'll be able to see where all the deadlines are approaching, where all is the missing data, etc. Right now, these processes are still manual, right? Even within the tool, you need to configure, right? You need to give your input that what kind of dashboard you would like to see or what kind of data you would like to see, correct? But when AI gets into picture, it's all inbuilt. We just have to think of whether we want to enable this or whether we want to keep it disabled also. So AI is going to help us a lot, guys, in the upcoming months or upcoming time when we see compliance AI coming with products like Archer that will make lives of every stakeholder, administrator, everyone much easier. So it's important for us to understand, how this will be incorporated, and organization will definitely go at one point in time and adopt this model, guys, because we will not be going away from AI. So as a GRC consultants, guys, it's better that we start adopting to AI. We start understanding the policies for AI, that how AI could be brought into picture, or how controls related to AI should be incorporated, how risk assessments could be done related to AI, etc. And then for more information, guys, you can visit them. And then that's a detailed explanation, with an example what has been given, that what can we expect in near future, right? So they are all AI models, guys, right? These are all AI models which has been created, right? And every AI model that you see across, right, would be given like a role of an audit manager. Uh, she's a compliance manager, right? So these AI models will take care of your compliance, audit, monitoring processes, right? Then here it's a chief compliance officer. So we'll have different AI models like this, and here are all of their listed activities, what these AI models would be doing and helping us in terms of GRC. So you can definitely visit the official website, right? So you can visit this and you can have a look at this details if you want more information about this. All right. So this was about the AI, guys, and then last thing is on the career opportunities, right? So very quick thing, we all know that how important tools are these days. So even though you are working as an auditor, as a functional consultant, you feel like that my role is not to learn or understand tools. Remember, guys, that we are moving in a technological era. People are moving towards technology, people are moving towards tools, right? So though you may not be from a technical background, right, it's important that if you possess a tool based skill set, you will be able to leverage all these technologies, right? AI is not going to be manual, it's going to be within the tool, right? The risk management, the dashboards, your assessments, your structure of policies, your storage of policies, everything will be within a tool. So it's equivalently important that we understand GRC tools. We understand how the functionalities of these tools are, what are the capabilities of this tool, what are the features of this tool. Right? We don't need to be like a hardcore developer, and Archer is not about that, guys. Archer will never teach you extreme technical. We are not going to learn like Python or C sharp or .NET and you code something, right? That is a complete development segment. But at least the functionalities and the features of the tool, if you are aware about it, you will exactly know that if somebody tells you that manage an audit management or manage a GRC program for your company, you may be able to write in a pen and paper the list of risk, or in Excel you'll be able to do it, but that is not enough. You will need tools to incorporate a GRC program as well, and that everything would be done in a tool. So if you have the tool capability, if you have the tool knowledge, you will exactly know that what you see in Excel and pen and paper today or manually, how in the tool you can automate this, right? And AI is something in top of automation. What we are having right now, AI is still an advanced technology on that. So you see the how trend of the change of trend is going to be foreseen in near future, and there are various opening and opportunity, guys, for you as a GRC consultants to have your foot in different companies, start your career in GRC as a GRC Archer consultants, right? So definitely tool skill set adds up a value. right? Not much people in the industry you'll see with tool skill set or so. So if you have on your profile, that definitely adds more value and advantage in terms of securing a better position in a future. Right, so there are ample of companies hiring for Archer consultants. Fortune 500 companies have a lot of openings. Indian IT services do have various segments for Archer openings, and it's an immensely used tools across Middle Eastern region, Asia Pacific, North America. Right, so this is a tool what we have as our offering.